everyone, it is Carolyn here, and today is Sunday, January 13th, 2013. So it's just wanted to do, first of all, a sort of weekend update on what's been going on with me transition-wise. A couple of things. One thing is that today I went to have just a totally routine blood test to see how my hormone levels are and things like that, because some months back we tweaked the dosage of one of the sort of medications that I'm taking, and I've sort of been putting off just going to the lab and having blood drawn to see how that's affected my hormone levels and to make sure that everything's working as it should. So today, finally went to the lab to get that taken care of. Also, I called a clinic that does laser hair removal to see about coming in for a consultation, because that's something that I still need to deal with. Some years ago I was doing electrolysis, but it is an expensive and slow process, and due to just financial reasons, I wasn't able at the time to continue with that. So now I want to try laser hair removal to see if that option might work for me. I think if it does, it should be somewhat cheaper and faster, which would be great. If my hair doesn't respond to that, then obviously I may need to do electrolysis. But it's probably good to at least see if this is something that will work for me. So those two things. I guess that's it for now, but it's the weekend. So what I wanted to talk about today is wanting things. And so I guess what I mean by that is, for a long time, my gender dysphoria just completely overshadowed everything else in my life in terms of normal just desires and wants and things. I mean, I think when you have a knife twisting in you, and again, this is me speaking about my own experience, not about anyone else's experience of being trans, but for me, having this knife twisting in me constantly, it made it very difficult to focus on anything but making that pain stop. So it's not like I would think, I'd really like to take a cooking class, that would be fun, or anything like that, because it's hard. It was just, all there was most of the time was this kind of pain, and it not only made it difficult to want things, but also to connect with other people, because I feel like it made me very self-centered and just focused inward, and which is not good, but that's just the reality that I think I experienced. And obviously, I'm not like completely out of the woods yet where that pain is concerned, but things are, I feel like, getting better, but it's complex the way that is developing, because for instance, with regard to relationships, like romantic relationships, for the most part, for the past several years, like, romance is not something I've thought about much. It's just, it's always, as a concept, it's sort of been, yes, of course I would like to have a relationship with someone someday. I would like to share my life with someone, but it wasn't like an immediate yearning. I always felt like, I have much more pressing things to deal with. This transition is the priority, and I kind of need to get all this sorted out before I can really be invested in a relationship with another person. And to a large extent, I still feel that way, but in recent months, I've had at least the stirring of the actual emotional yearning for a relationship. relationship, and it's just a really complicated thing because it's bittersweet, I guess. I mean, that seems like such a simple, easy word to use, and I don't think that really does it justice, what I'm feeling. But, it's it hurts because I'm any person that I might be kind of having those feelings for. I don't expect most people at this stage where I'm at right now to have much interest. I mean, not to say that nobody out there would ever find me attractive or want to date me or whatever, but I mean, the chances of the same person that I have feelings for, having those, reciprocating those, given where I am right now, is, just realistically, not trying to just not be naive about this and just face the facts. I mean, it's pretty slim odds, and so I don't. So really, it's just this kind of that aching, that wish for something, but it's not present in your life. I mean and that sounds like it would mostly be a negative, but for me, I guess I see it as a positive in that even though it's painful a lot of the time, it's very positive in the sense that it reminds me that I can and do feel things other than other than just the anguish sort of surrounding gender dysphoria, other than just wanting to deal with that. That underneath that, there is still a person who has, normal desires, wants, yearnings, things like that. And so, I try to see the positive in that and see just the fact that those feelings are able to kind of come to the surface and that I'm able to really feel them. I try to see that as a positive. And so that, and for the most part I do. I mean, it's not, it's not happy feelings at all. It's just a, it's a human feeling, and it's just good to know, I guess, that I do want to have that kind of connection in my life at some point. And speaking of connections, just connections in general with people are a thing that I am trying to work on and foster in my life right now. I mean, I've always been a person who has had, very few, very close-knit friendships. I've never been a socially gregarious person. I've never had, just dozens of friends or anything like that. And that's fine. I mean, I've bonded very strongly with, a small number of people, and that's just how I tend to relate, I guess. But, the thing that's happening is that, as I'm in my sort of mid-30s, and a lot of my friends are married and having children and everything, and I couldn't be happier for them, and I love being around my friends' kids and seeing them grow up and everything. It's wonderful. But at the same time, there's this aspect of where, well, I don't see as much of those friends now as I used to. I don't connect with them as regularly as I used to, and I feel like since I'm not ready yet to be in this kind of that kind of relationship. I'm not about to get married or anything like that. That I wish, I guess, I wish that I still had more connections with people who, people who I could just hang out with, people I could just kind of whatever, just go out with and just talk with, all night long like I used to with some of my friends. But the reality is that it's harder and harder to connect with people that way as you get older. I think, at least for me, it seems to be, because especially for someone like me who has always only connected with a small number of people. I'm not the sort of person who is like, I'll be friends with anyone. I mean, there has to be that kind of, that sense there of compatibility, of, just like, of, I can't even describe it, but, I mean, with most of my kind of close friendships over the years, it's sort of been this thing where, we've just sort of fallen into this close friendship because it just felt so natural. And now I guess I'm at the stage of my life where I feel like I'm going to need to make more effort to make friends. And that is not something that I really, that I feel like I know how to do. I mean, it sort of scares me, and it's like, and, I don't know, it's just, it's harder to do it, to sort of consciously make an effort to do it, than it is to be fortunate enough for it to just happen on its own. And so, yeah. I've been thinking about this musical called Company, which it's a pretty famous show, music, and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, famed musical songwriter. And there's a line in the so we put it on, we staged it when I was in college. I worked on the show as an assistant stage manager. I wasn't in the cast. I do not sing. I acted. I was in a lot of shows in college, but not the musicals. No. So anyway, so the show is about this guy named Bobby, and it's his 35th birthday. And at the time when I was in college, I thought, that is so far off in the future for me, and yet now I've blinked my eyes, and I'm actually older now than Bobby. The character of Bobby is when that show takes place, and though Bobby and I are very different, so many of that show's kind of lessons seem really resonant in my life right now. And anyway, there's a great line Bobby says to a friend at one point where he says, because he's in a situation where all of his friends are basically married, and he himself is single, and he's kind of a womanizer. He sleeps around a lot, but he's not in anything that resembles a serious relationship. And anyway, all of his friends are married, and they all sort of acknowledge to him that yes, it's hard, it's difficult, it's often painful, but it's also wonderful. It's worth all of that pain and all that work and all that struggle for that, to have that connection with someone, to share your life with someone in that way. But anyway, Bobby's still, at one point in the show, he's still kind of trying to hold on to his youthful lifestyle and to not grow up. And he says to one of his friends, he says, and again, remember, he's like 35, 34 probably when this scene takes place. He says, old age is breaking up that old gang of mine. And, I sort of feel that way sometimes, like, yeah, I mean, so here I am, and all my friends are getting married and, having kids and everything, and it's great, but it's I'm the one who's kind of this odd person out because I'm not in that situation, and then may not ever be, may not be for a while, who knows. But anyway, it's like I still wish that I could, go back to being 25 and, being with all those friends and, going to Las Vegas and staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, drinking and talking and bonding and everything. as the person that I really am and not as the boy that I was pretending to be when those things actually happened. You know, I feel like I still have all this figuring out of who I am to do, and we define ourselves and we figure ourselves out through how we relate to and connect with other people. And so, you know, I feel like I could use more of that in my life, and I'm hoping that I can make that happen. You know, anyway, and it's not to say, I mean, that I'm not extremely fortunate. I mean, I am. I feel very blessed to have the wonderful friends and the support of the wonderful people that I do. So, you know, it's just, it's just that sometimes I feel like, okay, here I am, 36 years old, and, you know, right now I'm not really kind of giving as much opportunity to really kind of connect with other people as maybe I would like. But then the reality is that I'm so picky about, I have such a difficult time making friends, and I'm so picky about who I make friends with that, I mean, you know, 85-90% of people out there, you know, wonderful people, nothing wrong with them, but I'm just not going to click with them. So it's not easy for me to form the kind of connections that I'm looking to form. It's, you know, and I see people who have all these friends and have such an easy time of connecting with other people, and sometimes I wonder, like, am I naturally, socially kind of awkward and goofy? Is that just part of who I am? Or am I that way because I'm trans, and maybe if and when I put transition behind me, then connecting with other people will be easier? You know, I don't know. I mean, there's no way really for me to know if that's just an inherent part of who I am, or if it's tied up in my being transgender and whatnot. Anyway, so yeah, that's just stuff that I've been thinking about a bit these past few days, so that I wanted to talk about. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to post them here on the YouTubes. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you again here real soon. Have a good night.